Hi, this instructional video is about solving and graphing multi-step inequality. Here's an example. Negative 3 times the quantity of x plus 3 is less than 4x minus 7. Now, anytime you see a number outside of parentheses, you're thinking about doing, the distributive property. So we're going to take that coefficient negative 3 and multiply to each of the term inside of parentheses. So here we have negative 3 times x, which becomes negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 3, or plus 3, becomes negative 9. And that is less than what's on the right side, which is 4x minus 7. Now we have an x on the left and on the right of the inequality. And here's how I ask or direct my students to do it. Which of these two x's is a smaller one? The negative 3x is the smaller x. Usually in many cultures, the smaller one or the younger one goes to the older person for advice. So since this is small, we're going to move this guy. Opposite of minus 3x is plus 3x. And you line them up with the like terms on both sides of the inequality. So on the left side, that's an additive inverse, so it cancels out, becomes 0. So all you have remaining is negative 9 on the left side of the inequality. On the right side, 4x plus 3x is 7x minus the 7. Now to solve for x, you have to move that constant negative 7 or minus 7. To do that, you take its additive inverse, which is plus 7 to both sides of the inequality. So you end up with 7x. I'm reading it from the right side now. 7x is greater than, because it opens up to it. 7x is greater than what's on the left side now, negative 2. To solve for x finally, you divide the coefficient 7 to both sides. So x is greater than the smaller number on the left, which is negative 2 over 7. And that's my numeric answer. Now, in some homework assignment when you do, they will not ask you to draw the number line. They'll just ask you to simply solve it. But in case they do, here's what you do. What number are we talking about? Negative 2 over 7. So that's what I would put in the middle of the number line. That's all. You don't have to worry about all that jazz about what's on the left and the right. We know the zero's on here somewhere. But what are the numbers greater than negative 2 over 7? Well, not negative 2 over 7, but everything that's greater than that is to the right. If you ever had any teacher in the past who said, shade it in the direction of the arrow, in this case, it wouldn't work. So always read from the variable x. X is greater than, so greater than is to the right. Now, why don't you try this one while I eat my apple? Alright, so you realize this is very similar to the first example we just did. We have a number outside of parentheses. In this case, is 6. So you're going to take that coefficient and multiply to each of the terms inside of parentheses. Distributive property, that is. So in this case, we get 6 times x, which is 6x. 6 times positive 2, which is plus or positive 12. And that is this time going to be greater than what's on the right side, 3x minus 2. So then, like before, you said, there's 2 x's here. Which one's the smaller one? Because the smaller x goes to the older, bigger one for advice. Since 3 is smaller, we move the 3a by subtracting the 3x to both sides of the inequality. Always move the smaller x. In this case, the 3x minus 3x on the right becomes a 0. So all that remains on the right side of the inequality is negative 2. And on the left, 6x minus 3x is 3x plus the 12. To solve for x now, we have to move the constant 12. So we subtract the 12 to both sides of the inequality, leaving you with 3x is greater than negative and negative. They become a bigger negative when you combine them to become negative 14. Solve for x by dividing 3 to both sides. So x is now greater than, I would just leave that as it is because it's the simplest form. So, again, when you do your homework, It might not even ask you to graph, but if they did, this is what it would look like. What number are we talking about that is greater than x? That's right, negative 14 over 3. And that's all you need to show on the number line. Does that include negative 14 over 3? Is that equal to? No. So it's open circle. And x is greater than, so this time you do follow the direction of the arrow because it is greater, you go to the right. And there you have it.